Magdalena here, Wolf of Coins. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today we have a full moon, so I thought I would talk about this topic. I've had some requests from people to talk about Slavic magic or Slavic folk magic, and I did not do it so far because I haven't done it so far because I don't feel really, a specialist here, or a specialist, or a person who even has knowledge in this matter. As for magic, I'm really a newbie, you might say. I do not really call myself a witch. I've only done a couple of spells, and that's it. So that's why. Maybe it will change, who knows? But for this moment, all I can offer you is info from this great book. It's in Polish, so that's why I'm making the video, and I will be talking a little bit about protective magic. And this book is called Magia, ludowa z Pomorza I Kujaw, and it means folk magic from two regions of Poland, Pomorza and Kujawy. But from what I read this whole book, and from what I read, it applies to probably the most of Poland, if not some things even to probably all Slavic countries. So I think that the author, it's Anna Koprowska-Głowacka, she wanted to narrow it down. Maybe it was for some kind of thesis, I don't know, but also the publishing house, I think it's connected to the region. So yeah, I think we can safely see these customs as part of Slavic magic belief. So I will be talking about that, just a little intro. Oh yeah, and if you're interested in any Slavic pagan stuff, I have a whole playlist, so check it out. I have a lot of videos there already. I have playlists for most of my things, tarot and tarot de Marseille and whatnot. Okay, so in Slavic mythology, we get at least two figures that could be that we could see as like mistresses of magic. It would be Baba Yaga, and the one that lives in a hut in the middle of the forest on chicken feet, or in the Polish version on the chicken foot, and Morana, or in Polish Marzanna. So we have these two. And yeah, let's see about the protective magic. So yeah, I won't be talking about everything because this video would be very, very long. I just picked some topics for that. Look at pretty pictures. And I go. So, for example, there was a custom of planting an elder bush in the garden near the house, because it was believed that in the roots of the elder bush, the black elder, there lives good demon that protects the house. And in the Prussia region, he was called Barstuk, which meant bearded one, and he was pictured as a little man with a lantern in his hand. And the other protective device, the stork. The stork, till even today, is believed as one of the most sacred birds there can be in Poland. If you see a stork, it's a really good sign for you, especially when you see the first stork after winter and it's flying, it's a good sign. That's just from, it's not from the book, it's just from what I know from the culture. So if you see the stork that is flying, it's a good sign for you for the year, because you will be moving forward, you will be active. And if the stork is just sitting or standing, it means you might be like more stagnant and lazy during the year. So anyway, the storks, the nest on the rooftop of the house protected the house in the folk belief from fire, from sleet, from thunders, and of course the presence of the storks granted you a lot of children, so fertility. Also, it protected from nasty spirits. And if you killed a stork, it was believed like a murder, and you would be like ostracized in the society. And some people would like on purpose try to invite the storks that they would live on their house, so prepare the space for the nest and stuff like that. Even now it happens. The other thing would be a red ribbon. So this is funny because I haven't heard about it until I had a kid myself. And then I learned that there is such a custom, you know, to put a red ribbon on the wrist of the baby. You know, like here. My grandma told me that, like, oh, you just must put it on his hand, on his wrist. The other, to protect him. Well, she did not really explain why he has to have it. She just says, my child has to have a red ribbon or a bracelet around his wrist. Here in this book, they say that on the crib, a red ribbon or a thread would be put on the crib, and the crib would be usually either a birch tree or linden tree made, because they are both like protective wood type of wood. They protected the child against evil spirits and any evil in general. So, and later the thread would be put either on the wrist, on the shirt or the skirt, dress. And also the cows or the sheep in the house, like around the that you owned, you would protect them in the same way. Like you could also put even now people like to put red collars on their dogs. The next big thing, and it's a good one for now because we are nearing February the 2nd, which is the Gromnica. I have a video on this Slavic pagan stuff playlist. There is a video from last year where I talk about this holiday and how I associate this version of Mother Mary with Slavic goddess Dziewanna. So a bit of water. So yeah, so you can check it out for more info. But here in this book we get Gromnica is the name of the celebration, but also the name of a candle. And it was used for many magical workings, many magical actions. So for example, where there was labor going on, a child was being born, they would light Gromnica in this room. Also, when somebody was on their deathbed, they would put this candle into their hand so that the light could lead them to the other world. and also many other like very important moments of somebody's life. And yeah, you could use it magically as a protection against thunders. So if there was a storm and you were afraid that thunder would hit your house, you would put the candle at the parapet, you know, near the window, light it and pray. Alternatively, I heard that you could light it in front of Mother Mary's icon or any image. And yeah, a very interesting thing. I just, like, 2 weeks ago, I talked to my friend and he told me that when he was a boy, he's Polish, and he went to church with his father at February the 2nd, and there was this like a celebration. I've never witnessed it, but they had in the church there was a celebration that they would all that the priest would hold the candle, the Gromnica candle, and like rub it on every person's throat. So and my friend said he remembers it well because, you know, it's winter, so everybody was in coats and scarves, so he had to remove the scarf so the priest could rub it on his throat. It was not really explained why it was done so, but I read about Gromnica a lot, and it's believed, it used to be at least, believed that it heals the throat or protects. If you rub it beforehand, it protects your throat against any infections, which also makes sense because the plant Malin, we call it Dziewanna, so it's the same name as the goddess. The plant itself was used. I actually have it. I have a dried one here. You can see. Whee! So you can use this, and it was like common practice to use this plant for wicks in your candles. So, oh yeah, it's losing seeds. Oh. Anyway, you would on February the 2nd, you would create those candles by pouring beeswax over Malin. And Malin itself has properties of healing the throat infections. So it really, really all makes sense. You see all these black dots? These are the seeds that fell from my Malin. I'll just take them away. So yeah, that is that. What else do I want to say? Oh yeah, for example, flowers. That one was interesting to me. Many people, of course, plant flowers in front of their houses and make everything pretty, but there was a belief that the flowers not only make your surroundings beautiful, but they also act as protective shields against evil, like evil negative energies or spirits or whatnot. I find it interesting. Then there is the broom. So to protect your house against like people who don't wish you well, or bad spirits, or evil witches, you could put your broom in your hallway in the corner, as close to the door as you can, and then it was a protection that made it impossible to put hexes or jinxes on the people who lived in the house. Yeah, another way for protection was to put like 2 brooms crossed, and they were like a barrier on the floor in the main room. Yeah. Also, you could put the broom directly on the threshold. The other type of broom was so-called drapaka. It's a type of broom that is made from birch twigs. And birch, as I mentioned, it has really protective properties in Slavic tradition. It's something that drives the evil away. It also protects, as with the children's cribs. And here you can use it for purification, for like cleansing the people who enter your house from bad energy. So before they entered, you could just swipe them around to cleanse them. Then there was this tradition of protective crosses that would be on, again, February the 2nd. What you would do with the Gromnica candle, you would take it to the church and then light it from the main candle in the church, and then do your best to bring the light to your house without like extinguishing it. And then what you would do to protect your house for the year, you would take the candle to the ceiling and burn a cross on the ceiling, so it would protect you for the coming year. Sometimes it would be repeated 3 times, so you would have 3 crosses on the ceiling, and that was February the 2nd. But there was also another night to create crosses for protection, and it would be April 30th. So the people would paint. This time they would paint also 3 crosses, either with white, black or red paint, on every door in the house, and all all the other buildings that you would have, like a barn or whatever. You would put it everywhere. Then, of course, there are herbs, and there's like such a huge list here. I won't be translating it because it's a lot of work. But anyway, herbs would be a very important part of Slavic magic. They would be collected and dried, or you could collect them, the strongest properties the herbs had on the St. John's Eve, so the night between June 23rd and 24th, so-called Kupala night. And yeah, they were the strongest. And anyway, you could collect the herbs and then make, for example, wreaths out of them and put them to dry and hang them in your house for protection. Or you could just, make a bundle. And one of I think the biggest protectors there were, it was St. John's wort. We call it dziurawiec, from dziura, which means a hole, because the leaves of this plant have like many tiny holes. An alternate folk name for this plant is ziele boginki, which means goddess's herb. So it has a really strong protective properties. Also, I think malin, Giovanna, would be a good one for protection. And juniper, and many others. It's just, yeah. You would also do smudging. You would create those wreaths, and when they were dry, you could, light them, then blow, blow the flame, and then with the smoke, people would walk around the house to cleanse it and for protection. So now, oh yeah, of course, you could, as I said, you could hang it in your house, you could put it into your bed, and the wreaths, protective wreaths, were a big thing. Now we could talk a little bit about types of curses, I suppose. I probably, as I am not a specialist, I probably won't use the right words for it, but I think you'll get my meaning. So, one of the things that could cause you harm would be the evil eye or the bad eye, and it actually could be done unwillingly, just unconsciously. Somebody could, for example, look at your child and be jealous how your child is healthy and pretty, and then this jealousy could create negative energy and could do some harm to your child. So this might be like done on purpose or just even unknowingly. Another, so it's bad eye, it's złe oko, oko meaning the eye. And then we took like złorzeczenia. Złorzeczyć means wishing someone harm in general. So in words, so I translated it as to curse, and it would just say, oh, I hope you will get sick or something like that, and then it could come true because of the bad intention in what you've said. And also there could be whispers, so szepty, and it's something like magical formulas, like repeated whispering, which is like said to harm someone, but behind their back, you know. And the last one, it's again like klątwy. Klątwa is a curse or a jinx, and this is something you definitely do on purpose. You do it either yourself or you ask a bad witch to do it for you. So these are the things that people wanted to protect themselves against. And for example, what you could do, again, you could use a broom and I know I've heard a lot that in other traditions it's very common, like to use the broom to swipe the bad energies away. So that's exactly what would be done. You could swipe away the evil eye and the jinxes and not the jinxes, the curses and like bad charms, whatnot. And when you were doing that, you could also like speak words of a kind of like a formula. So I'm getting rid of bad things. You could also enforce it by saying "akish," so be gone, and spitting through your left arm, like behind your back. You could also be able to stop the jinx, the curse before it like started working. So usually even now when somebody says something that you're afraid they will jinx, how you say it? Well, yeah, if somebody says something bad, something harmful, and you're afraid it might materialize, it might happen actually, then there are various ways to stop it. So, for example, napsa urok, which is really probably not used by people who love animals, but this is the jinx on the dog. So not on me, on the dog. Let it go on the dog. Then niech to piorun strzeli, which means may the thunder strike it. And lastly, niech to licho porwie, so may the licho take it. Licho was kind of a creature, like supernatural creature, and it did not bring anything good actually. But we would hope that it would take the bad jinx away, the bad words. And another thing is knock on wood. So we also have it. We even say it's not just any wood, it has to be not painted wood, not lacquered wood. It has to be this raw type of wood, which would be either in the old times, a person who died would be put on a newly prepared piece of wood, a board that was not painted. And that's interesting. Polish listeners out there, you will know. I never knew what the saying meant that, for example, I will be faithful to you, like till death us part, but in Polish it would be till the death board, do grobowej deski, okay? So that's that board on which a dead person would be put and transported from the house. So when the person was laid there, the people who came to the funeral would knock on this wood to repel all of the bad energies, bad spirits that might want to take the soul away. And the second explanation of the knocking is in the ancestors' worship, which was a very, very, very important part of Slavic tradition. And to be honest, it still is. But yeah, when there would be some kind of trouble, or you needed some advice from the ancestors, the head of the house would knock under the table, which is like never painted, right? So under the table, and it was believed that the table was a kind of like an house altar, like, well, not exactly, but a thing a bit like that. It was the most important furniture piece in the house. It was the first piece of furniture brought into the new house, and also there was this belief that there is this like the ancestor spirit living in it, so you can call this spirit to come forward and give you some advice. So yeah, what else did I want to say? The video is, it's already long, man. It always happens. So maybe one last thing is about protection against the water spirits, the so-called drowned ones. So topielce, utopce, topielice, all the creatures that lived in the water and might want to drown you. So, of course, to avoid being drowned, you were not allowed to bathe in the lake or a river before St. John's Eve, so Kupala night, June 23rd. Before that, you could of course bathe, but in like a sauna type place, okay, or in the house, but not in the running water, and not outside, because you could be drowned. And also to be protected from from those creatures. People would put colored ribbons or like some flashy, like, I don't know, beads or other things on the branches of the trees that were growing near the water or on reeds. So yeah, it was supposed to, you know, placate the spirits so that they won't drown you. So yeah, unfortunately I don't have like a book to recommend English speaker about this, strictly this topic. If you're Polish, I highly recommend this book. It's very interesting. The author collected many interesting facts and beliefs. There are illustrations, which I love. There's a whole chapter about herbs and plants in general, so also trees. This is magic and medicine. And there is a lot about festivities, the customs surrounding them. And I think I will be using this book again for the next videos if you enjoy them. But there is a book that I have not I did not dive into yet, and it's this one. It seems very comprehensive. It's Balkan Traditional Witchcraft by Radomir Ristic. It's originally a Serbian book. I heard some opinions that it's made a little bit too Western style, if you can say it. Like it's a bit like made to fit the Anglophone style, let's say, magic. I cannot say, because as I said, I did not read it yet, but it's very comprehensive. There is a lot of fascinating stuff. I scanned through the book, and yeah, this is the table of contents. There is a lot again about herbs and yeah, as you can see, there are about trees, and there are illustrations, which I always love. So a lot about plants, about animals. So this is Southern Slavic. It's like the author is from Serbia. So, oh, what I did not like, I really did not like this part, because, you know, it's an English translation. But even the names of the supernatural creatures got translated. You know, you get fairies, you get, okay, dragons. Where was it? Like, there were other names here that I appreciate that there is a translation, but I would also appreciate if there was an original name, like from, for example, Serbian language. I don't think they just say fairies and dwarves, do they? If I'm wrong, then okay. But yeah, I would be really interested into hearing Slavic names, because after all, you know, it's from Serbia. So yeah, that was my complaint here. But as I said, I have not went through this book yet. I only know it's like here, I read here and there. So that's it. But it seems very, very interesting. So if you're into Slavic magic and you speak English, then maybe you might want to try this book. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed it. Please let me know if you've enjoyed it. If there's anything you would like to hear about more, if you have any questions. And yeah, happy full moon in Leo tonight. Bye.